So the first reviews for Fallout 76 are finally here, and well, the reality is they don't look that good. In this video I want to do a couple of things, give you some insight as to why we're getting these reviews so late in the cycle, but even beyond that, look at the content of some of these reviews and give my own opinions on some of the issues they bring up. So first and foremost, why are so many of these Fallout 76 reviews coming out almost a week after the game's been released? I brought this up on release, basically mentioning how it's really odd how there's literally like one review for the game on the day it comes out, and it's, you know, a AAA game from a very large company in a very popular franchise. So what I would argue is one of the big and contributing factors in this is the way review codes were distributed. Bethesda has somewhat developed a reputation over the past couple of years of not being the best with review codes. I personally received one for this game, and basically with my review code, I never got any additional time to play. So when you could play during the beta and during the actual game's release is when I could play. The beta itself was oftentimes during non-work hours in the United States, and even beyond that, a time-limited beta, only getting to play for a 2-hour session, isn't like the best setting to actually craft reviews. I bet a lot of these publications were also waiting for a day one patch to maybe give Bethesda the benefit of the doubt and not make a review off of a beta of a game because maybe a bunch of stuff will be fixed by release. Of course, we didn't actually get a day one patch, and even with the patch we got yesterday, not that much has been fixed, but I would say those are the factors really contributing to the reality of all of these fairly late reviews. So now that the reviews are out, what are they? Well, as I mentioned in the first sentence of this video, they're pretty bad. So the two aggregate websites I'm using to evaluate this are OpenCritic and Metacritic. On OpenCritic, there's 26 reviews looking at the various platforms the game's available on, and it comes to a total of a 55. It's even labeled on the website, a 55 is in the bottom 11% of games scored. On Metacritic, the reviews are divided by section, that being PC, Xbox One, and PS4. The score is highest on Xbox One, which kind of follows that the game was made for Xbox One and they had a deal with that console. It's lowest on PS4, and PC finds itself right in the middle. If you average these three scores together, you're going to get roughly a 56.6. putting it right in line with the OpenCritic score. Now, I would be amiss if I didn't mention some of the potential biases in looking at reviews from a sample of this size. There really aren't a ton of reviews out even now with some of these initial ones. On Metacritic, for any given platform, there's 4 to 7 options, and again, on OpenCritic, there's 26 in total. One could argue that the people rushing to review the game might have a overall more negative opinion on that, dragging the overall score downward. I don't personally agree with that viewpoint, and I think the fact that on Xbox One, which reportedly has the least issues, it has the highest score, and how on PS4, where it seemingly has the most issues, it has the lowest score, seems to counteract that. But again, I did want to bring it up. So how do these review scores square up? Obviously, a number of Fallout games, most notably Fallout 4 and New Vegas, had a lot of controversy on release from buggy releases. Well, not good. Fallout 76 right now will be the lowest rated Fallout game of all time. The real competitor here for lowest score is going to be Fallout Shelter on the Switch and PC. The Switch score in particular is just a 61, which Fallout 76 definitely could end up beating. But if that's really where the bar is right now, the full-fledged AAA release competing with the mobile release that got ported over to the Switch, that's certainly not a good look for Bethesda. Now, I would honestly say something else to take away from these review scores, they have a certain amount of permanence to them. Like, even notice in this video, I'm referencing Fallout 3 review scores from 10 years ago. Fallout 76's review score is going to hold a certain stain on the franchise. It's not just going to go away in a couple of months. Reading through some of the reviews on this game, a very common theme you see is people citing an empty or lonely feeling world, despite the fact that it is multiplayer. The Guardian describes it as having half-baked conflict ideas and witless quests to unearth the dead. The soulless sequel is perfect if you enjoy picking up rubbish in a wasteland. And they gave it a 40 out of 100. And something that really stood out to me reading through some of these reviews is nobody really was overall positive. Let's take the review from Somos Xbox, for example. Fallout 76 takes a brave step forward in a risky multiplayer proposal, but due to its unclear intentions and a poor performance overall, it will need time and effort to please its fans. What kind of score do you think is associated with that review? It's definitely a lot higher than I would have guessed. Through all of the reviews I've read, pretty much nobody denies this game has either a huge bug problem or just fundamental issues with the base game itself through the story, multiplayer interactions, what it focuses on. And I'll be honest, I think a lot of this is pretty fair and reflective of the game we have. If anything, I would almost argue the review scores a bit on the high side. A lot of the reviews seem to downplay or not put as much emphasis on the bugginess of this game. My personal stance is it's totally unacceptable to release a game like Fallout 76 in 2018. The fact that it's very unlikely any of us can log on and actually play this game for 20 minutes without encountering a bug of some kind is pretty bad. And in all likelihood, as it stands right now, you'll probably play for 20 minutes and encounter several bugs, not even just one. So if you clicked on this video really hoping I would tear apart some of these review scores and say these guys don't know what they're talking about, they're wrong, well, you're going to be disappointed because I actually agree with a lot of the points made. Again, I think they are unfairly rating it too high, downplaying some of the bugginess. My personal stance is I think Fallout 76 has a lot of fun components, but a lot of issues surrounding those not letting them live up to their full potential. And honestly, more so than anything else, I hope this serves as a lesson for Bethesda. They wake up and realize, alright, we messed up with this game. We released what I would think is described as an unfinished product, and that's not acceptable. Over the past 5 to 10 years in gaming, you've seen this trend emerge of releasing games that aren't really ready on release, but then you patch it and it's games as a service, so it's okay because you play the game for like 3 years. I think Fallout 76 is the pinnacle of that, and not in a good way. I was playing Fallout 76 yesterday and I genuinely thought to myself, I feel like I'm playing a game that's in early beta. Like I feel like the present build of the game would have been appropriate if we got a beta in like August of 2018. But seemingly right now at the rate at which they're fixing bugs, it doesn't look like this game's going to be bug free for still months to come. So now don't get me wrong, I'm still going to play the game, I'm still going to have fun playing the game. It just really frustrates me that it has so many issues, both internally in the actual design decisions of the game and kind of externally with the bugs the game has. So all in all, hopefully Bethesda looks at these review scores, realizes they did mess up here, and for the next game they don't take the same approach. They either delay the game, they don't release it in their magic November window if it's not ready for it, or take some other course of action to ensure they have a quality product on release, because I do not think Fallout 76 fits that description in its current state. So either way, that's largely going to wrap it up for the Fallout side of this video, but one quick disclaimer before I share today's psychology fun fact of the day, and I know this will upset some of you. I'm sorry, but there's just no way I can get this cooking video up by Thanksgiving. Basically, today I have a test. I've been studying for that test for like the past week now, but then I also, of course, have to leave college and travel home for Thanksgiving and then do Thanksgiving. If you're not sure what I'm referencing, I've been saying in the front of a few videos, for 350,000 subscribers, I'm going to make a cooking video with the Fallout cookbook. That's still true, I'm still going to do it, I just am not going to be able to have it up for Thanksgiving, even though that is like the perfect featurette I could think of. The simple reality is, I don't have the time right now, and I could get the video done, I could throw something together and have it up for Thanksgiving, but it wouldn't be at the quality level I want that video to have. I want it to feel like something special, like that Juice video I did for hitting 100 million views. I feel like that was a cool video, but it took a little while to actually prepare and make. I know some of you guys are going to be upset about this. I do genuinely apologize. I feel like I actually let you down. I said I was going to do something and I'm not living up to that. But otherwise, as I did mention, I do have a test, and what comes with tests on this channel? Juicy psych fun facts. It would probably be a lot cooler if I had like some logo to pop up with that. But either way, here's a bonus psych fun fact. As you are trying to learn your information for a test, one good way to remember info is to explain it to somebody else. I don't actually remember why that is, but I remember learning it and I do it and it works. So hey, you should do that also. But what I'm going to be talking about here is social facilitation. This is something I've touched on in the channel in the past, but this time I will hopefully go more in depth based off my knowledge and not using my notes at all. Social facilitation is the idea that when others are around us, it actually elicits a dominant response from us, leading us to either performing better or worse on a task. One of the initial studies looking at this was done all the way back in the late 1800s. What it found was as kids were reeling in fish at a lake or something, wherever you reel in fish, when there was another kid standing next to them, they would reel in faster overall. Seemingly, the presence of another person elicited a different response than when there was no other person. So from that, it's actually been expanded in a number of ways. The leading theory now basically looks at it as when there's actually others around you who are evaluating what you are doing. So that doesn't necessarily mean they're like rating you or writing down review scores for your video game, but rather just you could see that they have an opinion. They're actually interested and attentive to what you're doing, and if you see them like laughing, that will affect you. So when you have this audience and they are attentive and evaluating, it elicits the dominant response from us. The dominant response is just the easiest and quickest response. So if the task at hand is a difficult one, our dominant response will typically lead to worse performance. The presence of these evaluators will make it so you just do all around worse. But let's say the task at hand is easy, then your performance will increase. And that's not to say the task is objectively easy, but rather easy to you. Like let's say you're giving a speech, it's not probably easy in its own right, but since since you practice it so well, it's easy for you to do. So it's with this theory that you could seemingly explain people's different reactions and performance differences in the presence of others. I'm sure for this one, a lot of you guys have probably experienced this somewhat. I've had times where I give a speech in a class and it's like, oh wow, that was way easier than I thought it would be. While other times where I really struggled with it, I definitely got worse stage fright, and just all in all, I performed worse than I probably could have. The large difference between those two, how well prepared I was for the task and how easy it really was for me. But either way, that's pretty much going to wrap it up for this video. As always, again, I thank you all for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed this one. But with that, I hope to see you guys all next time. Later.